Hello everybody, this is Jason from Complus2 and I am here with Kat from Pelgrane Press. So how's your show been going, Kat?
It's been going really well, thanks very much. It's our first time back in UK Games Expo for a couple of years, so really excited to be back and to be able to show off all of our fantastic products. So going well for us.
Yeah, indeed. And you've got a lot of 13th Age supplements on display. 13th Age has been around for a while, hasn't it? About 10 years or so?
It's not quite that long. We released it in 2013 at Gen Con. So we had the core book at that point, and then by the next Gen Con in 2014, we had supplement for it. We had 13 True Ways, which is the expansion book for it, and we had the bestiary available as well. So it's been steadily growing year on year since then. So yeah, so we're quite excited now about the range of products that we're able to show people.
Yeah, it's definitely got a bit of a cult following as well, because of course D&D is the big fantasy system, of course, as you know. But 13, yeah, as you said, it is sort of steadily growing. So say you've got somebody who's sort of very familiar with D&D, you know, the usual stuff. How do you get those people on board with your stuff? I mean, because it is mainly fantasy orientated, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the thing about the 13th Age system is that anyone who's familiar with D&D will already know the system. It's the same, very similar D20 fantasy system. The differences that really excite me are in 13th Age you have what's called your one unique thing. So that's something that distinguishes your character in the entire Dragon Empire, right? Nobody else has this thing that you have that's just all for you. So it means that your DM has something to create character hooks about. It's not necessarily mechanical, it doesn't give you a mechanical advantage, it's purely narrative based. It's all about the story, your backstory. Maybe, you know, you're the only child of an angel, or you know, literally it can be anything, but it gives your DM an idea of where you might like the story to go in the campaign. And so all of the characters have their one unique thing, and it's a really useful tool for GMs to work out how to bring in stories their players are interested in. As well as that, 13th Age uses backgrounds. So again, it's very much focused on the story and on the narrative of your characters rather than, you know, that kind of hack and slash and crunchiness. So you have a background. You might maybe have worked in a circus before. So that might include horse riding skills or knife throwing skills or trapeze skills. So suddenly instead of having like a list of just numbers, you have this concept of you as a circus performer. And Another story-based aspect is what we call the Escalation Dice, and that's something that is used in combat to just make it go quicker. I think a lot of D&D players have had that experience where you just get bogged down in endless rounds of combat that just take forever. Yeah, exactly, yeah, waiting for it to come round. So with the Escalation Die, it increments by 1 at the end of every turn, and that gets added to all of the players' rolls. So it just means that combat gets faster and faster, and you don't have any of that you don't have the kind of the bogging down and the endless turn taking. And it doesn't really use things like hex maps or things like that either. So again, it's all designed to be very quick, very free-flowing, much more narrative focused than I think maybe D&D is. So it's definitely for somebody who is familiar with the D&D rules and likes the system, but is interested more in the story and the idea and like telling massive, epic, adventurous stories with their characters.
Brilliant. And it's definitely got a really epic feel to it. And of course, the Dragon Empire, of course it's going to be epic, isn't it? How do you depict your dragons in this game? Are they sort of quite similar?
We have in 13th Age what are called the icons. So they're kind of like archetypes that your character will have different relationships with. So you can have either positive, neutral, or negative relationships with these icons. And again, they're going back to the kind of the narrative aspect of it and the story aspect of it, there are ways that you can hook your character into the world. And one of the icons is called the 3, and that's the negative dragon. That's the bad dragon. So that's kind of, you know, there's a lot of variety in terms of what you can do within the Dragon Empire with them. So, yeah.
And are dragons quite a big presence in the game, or are they more something that you just sort of know about and maybe they come along, you know, once per campaign?
They would be rarer. There would be more of the kind of the mythical creatures. But we have got a supplement in our 13th Age monthly, which is called Dragon Riding. So that allows players to actually become dragon riders, which is, you know, again a kind of a way of bringing them more into your campaign if that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, I bet if I ran this someday, they'd be like, oh well, you know, we need to talk to them, we need to ride them, and all that stuff. So, In terms of what you've got out at the moment, what's your hottest supplement so far? What's the one that you want to promote today?
Well, we've actually sold out of the one that I would have promoted, so that's great. But also, it does mean that I can't talk to you about it. So we've got the Book of Ages, which was written by my colleague Gareth Ryder Hanrahan, who's just come in here behind me. And the Book of Ages. So the game is called 13th Age, right? But what happened in the previous 12 ages? So the Book of Ages gives you ideas for maybe things that might have happened, and it's not canon. Again, the 13th Age aims to really inspire GMs to create their own world. So it's not canon, but it gives you ideas. If maybe you wanted to have more of a sci-fi flavor to your 13th Age campaign, it gives you an age where there was a can you describe the sci-fi thing?
Where a starship crashed in your fantasy world, and there's some leftover technology, and the crew have end up in the mountains, this sort of weird monastery, but they're trying to avoid corrupting the primitive civilization they found themselves in. But the renegade faction of the crew who are going, we can take over, we can supply the hobgoblins with cyborgs.
So the Book of Ages really, it allows you to take your campaign, your basic, fantasy campaign in Dragon Empire, and just mix it up however you want to. There's so many amazing little ideas and really wacky out there kind of inspirations in that book. I just love it, yeah. So Loot Harder, which is our other new hotness, we sold out of, and again, it's just a book of magic items. So magic items are quite different in 13th Age in that they all have a personality. And sometimes that's good, but mostly it's bad. They might be really whiny. If you have a sword, it might be terrified of battle. If you've got, so they all have their own personality. So magic items are a really big feature. So we've got the Book of Loot, which is the original book, and then we've got Loot Harder, which, when you think of loot it as hard as you can, get ready to loot harder. So that's sold out, unfortunately, here, so I can't show it to you.
That's all right. So let's just imagine for a minute that we are in October, which is when our convention is going to be. Have you guys got anything possibly in the works for around that time?
We actually do, so I'm really glad you asked. We're currently working on a massive sandbox campaign for 13th Age, which is called Shards of the Broken Sky. So that's it's basically going to run from levels 1 to level 7, and it's the City of Vantage has crashed to the sky. And the players get to explore that and discover, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but discover what's actually happened with it and what the wizards have been keeping in there as well. So we're working on that at the moment, and we're hoping to have that out for Gen Con in August. So it should be very, very new by the time your convention comes.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for the interview, Kat. I hope you enjoy the rest of your show.
Hi, my name is Kat Tobin, and I'm the managing director and co-owner of Pelgrane Press. And I'm asking you to donate to the Butterfly Project.